Okay, wow, this deep dive,
Yeah,
it really takes us into some hip-hop drama.
for sure.
The source material is pretty intense.
Definitely.
We're looking at an article from The Independent about Lil Durk,
Uh-huh.
and he's a Grammy-winning rapper, right?
Yeah.
And get this, he was arrested in connection with a murder-for-hire plot.
Oh, wow.
And this is not just, some kind of celebrity gossip.
Right.
This goes way deeper.
It does.
This shines a light on some serious allegations and kind of the darker side of the music industry.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. This is a really fascinating case because you have this complex web of alleged crimes and potential motives, and it really does get you thinking about, like, the pressures of fame and what people might do for revenge or to protect themselves.
Exactly. So to kind of understand the gravity of this situation, maybe we need to start with Lil Durk himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a big deal in the rap world, right?
Oh, yeah, major player, for sure. I mean, he won a Grammy earlier this year,
Huh?
and people might remember him, actually, from last year at Lollapalooza.
Oh, yeah.
He was injured on stage.
Right.
So this arrest, I mean, this is big for his career in the music industry.
This is a huge turn of events for sure.
Absolutely.
The article says that he was arrested in Florida,
Uh-huh.
and right now he's in Broward County Jail waiting to be transferred over to U.S. Marshals.
Right.
So what are the specific charges against him?
So this is where it starts to get pretty interesting.
Okay.
Lil Durk is facing federal charges.
Okay.
So that means the feds are taking this really seriously.
Wow.
It's not just him, though.
Right.
There are 5 other men
Wow.
that are allegedly connected to his OTF collective, Only the Family.
Oh, wow.
And they've also been indicted.
To hold true.
Yeah, so we're talking Kevon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston.
Wow. Okay.
And all of them are facing charges related to this alleged murder-for-hire conspiracy.
A rder-for-hire conspiracy.
Yeah.
So what's the connection between Lil Durk and this OTF collective?
So OTF, that's basically Lil Durk's own record label and brand.
Okay.
He founded it.
Okay.
And the men that were indicted, they're considered to be close associates. Some of them are even signed to the label.
Gotcha.
This connection is really key because the indictment alleges that they were working together on this plot.
Wow. So let me get this straight. We have a Grammy-winning rapper and his crew
Yeah.
facing federal charges
Mm-hmm.
for a murder-for-hire conspiracy.
It's wild.
Who was the alleged target?
Yeah.
What was the motive?
Right. So the alleged target was another rapper.
Okay.
His name is Quando Rondo.
Okay.
His real name is Tykean Terrell Bowman.
Gotcha.
Now, the authorities think that the motive stems from a tragic incident that happened back in 2020.
Okay.
Remember the rapper King Von that was shot and killed in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was a big story.
That was huge. I remember there was like an altercation outside a nightclub or something.
Exactly. King Von, his real name was Davon Bennett.
Okay.
And he was killed outside a nightclub in Atlanta after a fight.
Right.
And 2 other men were killed in the shooting.
Oh, wow.
And 3 others were injured. It was a crazy scene.
That's awful.
It was a chaotic and violent scene.
Tragic.
Yeah.
So how does this tie back to Lil Durk and this alleged plot against Quando Rondo?
Well, there's a crucial personal connection.
Right.
King Von was Lil Durk's cousin.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine the emotional impact
Wow.
of a loss like that
Oh, yeah.
and the possibility of wanting some kind of payback.
Oh, okay. So now I see
Right.
how the pieces are starting to fit together.
Yeah.
So they think that Lil Durk and his associates might have been targeting
Right.
Quando Rondo
Uh-huh.
as like payback for his cousin's death.
That's what they're thinking.
It sounds like something straight out of a gangster rap song, except this is real life.
Right.
With real consequences.
It's chilling,
Yeah.
and it actually gets a little more complicated. When you consider another shooting
Okay.
that involved Quando Rondo
Right.
back in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
he and his friend, Lil Pab, were shot at a gas station in L.A.
Oh, wow.
And Lil Pab was killed
Oh, my goodness.
in that incident.
Wow, this is a tangled web
Oh, it is?
of violence.
It is.
So we have 2 separate shootings.
Yeah.
One involving the death of Lil Durk's cousin,
Uh-huh.
and the other involving the death of the alleged target's friend.
Yeah.
This is a dangerous cycle of retaliation.
Absolutely. And I think what this case does is it really exposes that dark underbelly of the
Yeah.
music industry where these feuds and this violence
Yeah.
sometimes spill over into real life
Yeah.
with really tragic consequences.
It's a disturbing trend, for sure.
It is.
Now, the article mentions some unsealed court documents that reveal some pretty shocking details.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about those?
So the documents allege that members of OTF offered money
Oh, wow.
and even music opportunities like record deals and collaboration
Really?
in exchange for Quando Rondo's death.
Oh, my goodness.
They weren't just talking either.
Right.
They allegedly put their money where their mouth was.
Wow.
Back in 2022, they reportedly used a credit card to travel to Los Angeles,
Oh, wow.
seemingly to track him down.
They were serious about this plan.
It seems like it.
So what specific actions
Yeah.
did they take to try and carry out this alleged plot?
So one of the indicted men,
Okay.
Kevon London Grant,
Okay.
he allegedly flew to LA to provide guns
Wow.
to his fellow conspirators.
Only did.
He's also accused of renting vehicles
Uh-huh.
that were used to follow Quando Rondo and his family.
So they were
It
actively
seems like it.
planning and coordinating this
Yeah.
this level of detail
Uh-huh.
in these allegations is really disturbing.
It is. It really is. And it raises some serious questions about the culture
Right.
within certain parts of the hip-hop community,
Yeah.
Is there this code of silence? Or is there this culture of retaliation that's considered acceptable?
Right.
This case definitely gives us a little peek
Yeah.
into that world.
And just for our listener,
Yeah.
I think it's crucial to remember that these are just allegations at this point.
Right. That's important.
Everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Exactly. We can't jump to conclusions.
Right.
We have to let the legal process play out, and we'll see what the evidence says.
Right.
But, I mean, even at this early stage, the allegations are pretty damning.
Yeah.
I mean, they paint a dark picture
Yeah.
of the lengths that some people might go to for revenge or to protect their interests.
This is just the beginning.
It is.
What happens next? And what are the potential implications for Lil Durk and for the whole music industry?
Right.
We'll delve into that right after this.
Let's do it. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Yeah.
I mean, Lil Durk's career is on the line, and this could have a ripple effect through the whole industry.
Yeah, if convicted,
Yeah,
these are serious federal charges
for sure.
with serious consequences.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're not talking about a slap on the wrist.
No, not at all.
This is
Yeah.
big time.
It is, and it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what does this say about the music industry?
Right.
We have allegations of music opportunities being used as bargaining chips
Wow.
in a murder-for-hire plot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
pretty messed up.
yeah, it's disturbing.
It really blurs the lines between business and criminal activity.
It does.
It's like this dark undercurrent that most people don't even realize exists.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating
Yeah.
and unsettling aspect of this case.
Totally.
On the surface, you have this glamorous world of hip-hop with all the fame and the fortune.
Right.
But then underneath,
Yeah.
there's this alleged underbelly of violence and potentially,
Yeah. Illegal dealings.
it's like the music industry is a microcosm of
Yeah.
society itself
Oh, yeah. For
with
sure.
its complexities and its contradictions.
A great point.
Yeah.
And I think this case forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about gun violence, particularly in the hip-hop community.
Right.
I mean, we've seen way too many talented artists
Yeah.
lose their lives
It's true.
to these senseless acts of violence.
It's heartbreaking, and it seems like this cycle just keeps repeating itself.
It does. It's this vicious cycle
Yeah.
that's fueled by these feuds, the retaliation,
Right.
and this culture of violence that's
Wow.
been, kind of glamorized in some corners of the industry.
Right.
This is just one example.
Yeah.
But it shines a light on a much bigger problem.
And for our listener, I think it's important to remember the human cost
Oh, absolutely.
of this violence.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about statistics or court cases.
Nope. We're talking about real people with families, friends,
Right.
and lives that have been tragically affected.
It's so true. It's easy to get caught up in the sensationalism of a
Right.
case like this.
Yeah.
But we can't forget
Yeah,
about the victims
Right.
and the families who are left to grieve.
of course.
Their stories are just as important as the legal proceedings.
So what's next in this case?
Yeah.
What are the next steps?
Well, the wheels of justice are turning.
Okay.
Lil Durk and the other people indicted. They'll have their day in court.
Right?
Evidence will be presented.
Yep.
Witnesses will be called.
Right.
And ultimately, a jury will decide their fate.
This is going to be a long
Oh, yeah.
and complex process.
It is.
And the outcome could have huge repercussions.
For sure.
For Lil Durk, for his associates, and for the music industry as a whole.
I agree. I think this case has the potential to set a precedent, to really send a strong message about the consequences of violence, even within the music industry.
So what are some potential outcomes if they're found guilty?
So we're talking federal conspiracy charges. So the sentences could be pretty substantial.
Wow.
We could be talking years, even decades, in prison.
Wow.
This is not a situation to take lightly.
This could be a defining moment.
It could be.
In Lil Durk's life and career.
Absolutely.
And beyond the legal ramifications, there's also the potential damage to his reputation.
Right.
And his brand.
For sure. His fans, his collaborators, the industry.
Yeah.
Everybody will be watching closely.
Right.
And this case could have a lasting impact on how he's perceived, even if he's found innocent.
It's a reminder that actions have consequences.
It is.
And even fame and fortune can't shield you from the law.
Absolutely. And I think this case, it goes beyond Lil Durk himself.
Right.
It raises questions about the responsibility of artists. Okay.
And the influence that they have.
Right.
Do they have a moral obligation to speak out against violence?
Yeah.
Or to use their platform for something positive?
That's a big question.
It is.
And it's one that deserves further exploration.
Absolutely.
I mean, this case isn't just about a single rapper or a single incident.
Right here.
It's about the broader issue of violence within the industry and within society as a whole.
It is. We need to have these tough conversations.
Yeah.
We need to look at how violence is glorified.
Right.
And the culture of retaliation.
Right.
And all the systemic factors that are feeding this cycle of violence.
And we need to remember that change starts with awareness. By acknowledging the problem and then taking steps to address it.
For sure.
This case, as tragic as it is, can be a catalyst for that change.
Absolutely.
It's a wake-up call.
It is.
For the industry. And for all of us to confront this issue head-on. It's time to stop turning a blind eye to the violence that's been plaguing hip-hop for so long.
Right.
We have to hold individuals accountable and work together to create a safer and more equitable environment for everyone.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to bring our listener back to some of those human elements that we talked about earlier. This case, it involves real people.
It does.
Real emotions.
Real consequences.
And real consequences.
That's absolutely.
We'll explore that further in the last part
Sounds good.
of our deep dive. Yeah, it's easy to get, caught up in all the legal stuff of a case like this.
Sure.
But it's important to remember
Absolutely.
that at the end of the day, this is about
it is
real lives that have been forever changed by this.
Absolutely. We can't forget about the families, who've lost people.
Right.
The pain that they're going through. I mean, it's just unimaginable.
It's a stark reminder that behind every headline and every court case, there are real people grappling with the consequences of these actions.
And this case brings up another interesting angle that I think we haven't really talked about yet. Loyalty. Think about the pressure that must exist within a group.
Right.
Like Lil Durk's OTF collective.
It makes you think about the internal dynamics.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, the loyalty.
Yeah.
The obligation. Maybe even fear.
Right, exactly.
That might exist
in
these groups.
It's a complex mix of things. And, it's tough to really understand from the outside.
Right.
But it's definitely something to think about.
Right.
What does loyalty even mean in this context? Where's the line between having your friends' backs and, getting caught up in something that's just plain wrong?
Those are some tough questions for sure. They are.
And, for our listener,
I
think this case serves as, this stark reminder that the world of fame and fortune often has this darker side that we don't always see.
Absolutely.
In the music videos or
you don't see it
on social media.
It's a cautionary tale, I think.
It is.
It's a reminder that success doesn't erase all those complexities of human nature.
Right.
The potential for conflict.
Right.
Or, the just devastating consequences of violence.
This is a lot to unpack as we wait for, the legal process to play out.
Right.
I think we're left with some lingering questions about, the price of fame, the allure of revenge, and just that cyclical nature of violence, especially in a world where these things are often
for sure.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Those are the questions that kind of stay with you even after the headlines fade.
Exactly.
And maybe by grappling with them, by having these tough conversations, we can start to find some answers, some ways to break the cycle.
This deep dive has taken us through a whirlwind of information.
It has.
Alleged crimes, courtroom drama, deeper reflections on loyalty and revenge, and, the human cost of violence.
It's a story that goes way beyond the headlines. It's a story about choices and consequences and just the fragility of life.
As we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with this.
Okay.
This case is a microcosm.
It is.
Of these larger societal challenges.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that we all have a part to play.
We do.
In creating a world where violence is not the answer.
We can choose to learn from these tragedies. We can choose to challenge the way that violence is glorified.
Right.
And we can choose to support things that promote peace and understanding.
Right.
Even when things are dark.
Yeah.
There's always hope.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you.
And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening.